Goes on. Next up, it's Dave Askew taking on Ian Cullingworth, the man they call the fall guy. Let's hand over to our MC, Phil James.
Ladies and gentlemen, we now come to the final match of the afternoon here on the second day of the Paddy Power World Grand Prix. Please welcome from Cheshire, the full guy, Ian Cullingworth, and the number 7 seed from Red Hill in Surrey, Diamond, Dave Askew.
Okay, let's introduce our commentators now for Dave Askew against the fall guy Ian Cullingworth. Sid will explain all, I'm sure. John Quinn and Sid Waddell.
Well, thanks, Dave. This should be a very, very interesting match. Diamond Dave, age 38, of England. Certainly agree with what I said. Consistency. And that little bit of left in for the Irish lad Rooney, when Rooney was really looking good in front of a full house last night. Rocking and rolling, shaking these Irish fans. Might just have the edge. But you know more about is a pun than I do, John. From the Wirral.
Yes, this is Ian Cullingworth, the fall guy. Fell off a bus on his way home from a county match, playing for Merseyside. And serious damage to his right hand. Everybody thought that had put pay to any further dart throwing, but he's a fighter in more ways than one, and here he is now making his first television appearance, of course his debut yesterday in beating fellow qualifier, I think it was Chris Bowring, by 2 sets to 0. But a real competitor, but this man is 1-8 for no other reason, Sid, that he is very, very fine player, and we all know from the World Championships last year when he reached the semi-finals that he's got what it takes to win a title such as this, particularly now that a certain power is missing.
That's right.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Here we are in Sackett, Dublin. They're looking to book a place in the last 8. The powerless last 8. No Phil Tiller. Remind you, squat in, any double gets you off, but you have to get a double to start every leg. Good adjustment.
100.
And again. Askew playing right along, full good foot to the right of the middle of the hockey.
Just took a little while yesterday to settle in. Naturally, I think anybody would. The audience here last night was very, very much on the side of the young Irishman that he played, and but he settled in, Askew, and I think his professionalism came through in the end.
Absolutely. Thanks the dart quite high. But not at all, man. Thanks. Slightly higher than his eye, so looking for the optimum line. In some cases, the line of lowest arc to the targets. Plenty of room to the left now for Cullingworth.
140.
The John Barris qualifiers.
Yes. Both players come into this game, Sid, with 9 legs behind them. 3-2, 3-1. Was the score in Cullingworth's game in his 2 sets to 0 win over Bowring, and Rooney was beaten 3-1, 3-2 by Askew, so they've spent an equal amount of time on that stage. That does matter. Players talk about getting used to the hockey, getting used to the stage, having been there once. They will all feel better about it second time around.
Cullingworth on a possible 3-darter.
59.
Chance for Cullingworth here to get ahead nice and early. Even if he doesn't get it, if he makes a hole in it, then there's every chance he can be back.
59.
Well, to leave 92. So Shanghai on 20s for Askew.
Looking at 60. Still a chance with a shot of the 60. Just below.
60.
Yes, yet to get into his stride fully. Cullingworth may go the bull route here. We saw it actually effected yesterday. Well, he's decided not to. 87 wanted, treble 17 would have left. Double 18, but...
40.
Okay then.
Dave, you require
Fact.
60.
20. Topsy once. Still a chance. Middle of the bed. First leg. Askew.
Second leg.
Players will say it's a strange sort of phenomenon. You can practice and practice and practice in the practice room. You'll be hitting the board exactly as you want. But when you actually step up on that stage, you don't necessarily carry your practice form from your practice room onto the stage. It takes a little while to settle. Some players do, some players don't.
In the last game, commentating with Dave, that had to be part of Sholton's very lacklustre opening set. He was trying to slow down the game, partly because he was not happy with his practice form. Then once he got the first set in, he speeded up and relaxed more and was more accurate. So there is this surge of adrenaline. If you've been going well in practice, you want to get that as quick as you can. And I mean, Jockey Wilson wanted a 9-darter in the embassy in practice many years ago. Instead of had to wait till I won 50 grand. They want to take that form through. But sometimes if you get up there and you're cold, what do? Fast or slow?
100.
Well, there's the man that was beaten yesterday by Ian Cullingworth, Chris Bowring, fellow qualifier. And 2 qualifiers, actually, of the 8 made it into the second round. Of course, Cullingworth is one of them. And another one, we fail to sometimes, we don't remember sometimes, of course, that Painter actually qualified for this tournament.
That's right. Got to be said. Went into the pot with all the other qualifiers and came out as one of the 8. Tipped down Taylor. Fairy stories happen in darts. Could be not finished yet either, Painter.
Yes, he was certainly grim for Taylor.
96.
Well, as you said earlier, the litany of this match could be the patches, some of them extensive, of professional play from Askew.
Coming down for treble 19, would have left tops. So Askew for the second time of asking. Well, now then, this time's got a chance of getting it. Well, that was clumsy, to say the least.
Highly unprofessional. Rush your blood to the wrist.
Yes, in attempting to get it over that first start, making sure it doesn't hit the flight, he's actually, if you like, over-pitched.
Double 12. Once again, the qualifier showing not phased by taking on a pro up there. Askew cheese himself up.
It's a satisfactory start for Askew. He averaged around about 80 per throw in beating Keith Rooney. He had a higher start. He did have a 160 start, and he had a 161 checkout. That's the highest checkout this week so far. A 101 checkout, a 100 checkout. He had a 12 darter. So Askew, I think, of the two, certainly the man hitting the big scores. Although
we may not see that consistency, until the second set, assuming the first set. I think it explains it to Sholton. Sholton relaxed into form, which seems like a paradox, but is not in darts.
An unwelcome bounce out for the Merseysider. Cullingworth's average against Bowring, 75.58. A 160 start, 180. But there the comparison ends.
81.
Has to get a ton plus. You'd have thought he had to stop Askew's progression. Another shot of the double.
45.
Good adjustment upwards.
100.
Flight could give him problems to the right, decide to try over the top.
95.
Maybe you would have been better coming for treble 2, treble 19s there.
38.
The Della shot. You don't know why he asked Bristow on 3-8.
He obviously isn't able to see as clearly as we can that those two are not in. He had to ask about both of them. 98 left, that'll leave 80. An outside chance of Cullingworth, equaling the best outshot of the week. Not now.
Flight's in a very awkward position. Very awkward. Again, I think treble 19 would have been a better bet.
100. Dave, you require 80.
This to go ahead then. 2 legs to 1. No flight in the way for this one. Woohoo! Close there.
60.
Pulled the last dart.
You require 61.
Well, it gives Cullingworth a bit of a chance here now. 46 left. Wants double 18.
25. Dave,
2 tens coming in for Dave Askew. And 2-1. Opening set.
Game shot. Dave Askew. Full flag is in to throw
Well,
first.
so far each game with throw, but that's not because the player concerned threw first. It's more because they've been giving each other opportunities. Cullingworth did have a shot there, the double 18 to go ahead. You've got to be hitting them if you're going to beat the likes of Askew.
Both averaging fairly modest 80 and 50% of their shots going in. You'd expect both of them to improve, and I was going to say the odds are you'd expect Askew, I think, to lift his average to near a 90 as the game went on, particularly if he takes this first set.
60.
Yes, and if he's pushed as well, he raised his game yesterday out of necessity.
Yeah.
When Keith Rooney had a had a real purple patch, and Askew responded to it.
And half the boys from the lock giving it verbal, that's giving it loud appreciation of their lad Rooney.
Not half.
See, he's getting this slide too often for my liking. That the flight blocks the middle of the bed, so
60.
it puts you in that awful quandary. Should I go for the treble 19, risk a miss there?
Yes, Cullingworth's darts seem to enter the board almost at right angles to it.
Yep.
And in a way, Taylor-esque, he really needs to stack from below rather than
Absolutely, it's all down.
from above. But
It's all about the angle of entry of the dart. That angle of entry is too flat, too parallel with the floor to give you optimum in-flight for the other two.
that's a nice dart to follow. And look at that, absolutely perfect readjustment.
Yeah.
It's minimal, but it's mental rather than physical. Although obviously there's...
Couldn't agree more, John. Yeah, perfect reverse stack. Now he still has problems with the flight because of what we just pointed out. Squeeze that one in, this will go too. Unlucky.
Well, the thing there, as we can see, he's got room alongside.
Oh, 100.
So 76.
If you require 76.
Very gettable. Should at least have one dart at a double, even if he doesn't hit a treble. Now, that's not necessarily so. He rather slipped up. He's compensated.
44.
Just lost its legs in the last inch of flight.
39.
Can't do it with these 3 darts. Set saving shot coming in from Cullingworth then.
If you require 32.
Double 16. Needs to adjust an inch to double 8. Cross the board 12 inches or so to double 4. Level game, 2 apiece.
leg. It's Dane to throw first. Game on.
Well, away straight away. That's what you want when it's two legs all in a set. Vital leg this. It obviously doesn't decide anything yet, but in the final reckoning could prove to be absolutely vital.
40.
So both men away. Who's going to win the set? Favourite Askew.
Couldn't find the nice adjustment from the marker dart.
And this gives an opportunity to the unseeded player. Of course, Askew seeded 7, one of 4 seeds left in the competition.
26.
But sadly, Cullingworth couldn't respond.
Middle of the bed won't worry him. Very small flights, you see him over flight path in, and his opponent. Beautiful darts. We said there'd be patches of the professional skill. Good example there.
Yes, the leg that Askew really wants to win. I know Cullingworth does as well, but he's put it together, hasn't he? It's his second 180 in the game so far, and it puts him within striking distance of a finish.
Can you see how small the flight is? Managed to hit it that time on its way toward the 60. Good cover. Dilemma now. Do you risk hitting the flight? Surely. Yeah.
100.
It must be gone through his mind. Do I go to the trouble lining? Do I go to the trouble lining? No, I'll try. And that little minuscule whisker of doubt sometimes stops the execution.
82, the bull. Maybe treble 14. Went for the bull. I think it's in 2. If it is, then it's 80 left. If it's in the 17, then obviously it's rather different.
86.
Well, 86 scored. He's 16 left. He righted it, whatever.
Ton 40 needed.
He's obviously in the 15 to leave 67, and then treble 17 leaves double 8, and he's coming up for it now for the set.
Dave, you require
Set
16.
point to Dave Askew. To it.
Game shot the first.
Well, Cullingworth had chances to hit better on the 60. His flight blocking the way cost him, I'd say, 200 odd points in the last 2 legs. Dublin in Dublin, and Dave Askew is showing patches of professional stuff like this. You see the yellow flight of darts worked around the first one. Perfect use of the marker dart, John Quick.
Ladies and gentlemen, second
Yes,
set.
lovely to see from that angle as well, exactly as the player would see them, and almost read his mind as they go through the air into the target. Well, how Ian Cullingworth could do with a 180 or 2. Maybe a 160 to start with. Yes.
160.
Certainly showing that the Barras qualifiers are qualified to be here. And going back to that first shot we started with there, flights slightly smaller in Askew's case, and this lad's been having a lot of trouble by landing good darts in or around the 61st, and then getting flight flick later. Oh, well, here we go. He's thinking about 60,000 punts for the 9 dart.
85.
It's locked somewhere to the back of the left ear, and I think once you get to the 4th dart, if that goes in, it comes right round the front. Flight's maybe in the way of a dipper into the 60. Same problem.
That one's not so bad. The angle was such that it gave the opportunity for that 3rd dart more readily to go in. It didn't. That's a lovely lie for another one. He's done it again as he did
That's
before.
right. This was the 3rd time he's did that beautiful adjustment with 1 or 2 darts into the 60. The reverse stuck in.
Well, that's a good one. He's got plenty of room alongside. And just over there,
81.
well, he almost... Well,
Askew disposed of the local favourite, young Rooney, with a host of Irish fans last night. Cullingworth need another qualifier burring.
59. Dave, you require.
May have to use the bull here, with Cullingworth being on 56. He wants 61. Treble 11 will leave double 14. He's not even thinking of that. It's the bull's eye. A long way off. So 16 tops possibly for Cullingworth to nose ahead in this set, which one feels he has to win. I can't see him really coming from 2 sets down.
Tops.
Not impossible, of course.
Again, he's got flight problem here. Oh, perfect angle. Bisected. See just how this goes in. Through the flight of the previous dart. Brilliant throw.
Game on.
Yes, Askew had the one dart at ball to win the leg, but Cullingworth in the end getting up to the top. He started with a 160, of course. That certainly helped him get to the double first.
First 3 sets into the last 8. Can he drop it in a 60 now?
81.
Yes, very difficult for him with that first dart to find a way through, Sid. As we've said, we can see from that, you can see how much of the target is actually covered by the length of the dart, because it's into the board at the perpendicular.
Oh, 100.
And even at this high precision level of darts, 32 of the best in the world here, there is an element of luck, particularly when you aim at 2 stackers. Right, there's the flight to negotiate, and then there's which percentage of which barrel you hit. Or sometimes if you aim at the previous dart, it'll bounce sideways. Sometimes you don't want it to bounce upwards. So there's always an element of luck in the use of this stacker.
60.
I used to try and get a degree in air traffic control before I came to this, you know, trying to fail.
85. Dave, you require 158.
So I stuck in.
Well, this is a game which is really, in one sense, yet to take. But could burst to life all of a sudden. I mean, at the moment, it's 3 legs all in match play terms. But of course, Askew is that vital one set up.
100.
Just showing the quality of the hundreds of lads who went in for the qualifying competition. Here's the performance of Cullingworth.
He's in to throw first. Game on.
7 legs gone, each one with throw so far. 1, 3, 5 and 7 to Askew, 2, 4 and 6 to Cullingworth.
30.
Well, Cullingworth failing to really punish the mediocre scores from Askew. Dave Askew not quite yet hitting with
95.
the consistency, the level of scores that he was finding last night. Certainly in the last set.
Oh, 100.
Dennis Ovens and McManning, 2 defeated men today. Dennis Ovens in a very, very good game with John Part. Mick Manning really rather underachieving somewhat, I felt, against Sholton. Lovely first start there from Cullingworth. Can he get the 140? That would really give him the advantage. 68 ahead. Well, a shake of the head from Askew during that combination of shots, and perhaps telling a story. Not entirely happy up there at the moment, and there is a chance here if Cullingworth can just hit a golden patch, a purple patch. He could actually get ahead.
A muslin patch.
Yes.
It'll do, a denim patch even. Good adjustment, second dart. In rather similar to Sholton, his Tash nearly swallowed it first in his lips to try for that extra bit of controlled effort. That's the stage I think that Askew seeded players at now.
Well, a good last start, but it may be too little too late. 81, treble 19. 62 left, treble 10.
49.
So Cullingworth, he may well go treble 15 here. The last time he wanted 61, he went 15. He's got it, double 8. Double
Still a chance.
4.
2 fours it is.
53.
And kicked himself not taking a chance like that. Would have turned the leg around slightly, as it is. Dave wants 20 and 2 16s for 2-1.
Yes, and Cullingworth's inability to hit that double costing him again. Cost him in the first set when he had his opportunities.
We could write a thesis on the pros and cons and the facts and fictions about why you start on which double. If you start to think about the 9-darter, there's doubles to start on, like double top. If you're right-handed and you're about 5'9", a throw a double 13 is not a bad thrower. All sorts of different rationales come into which double they start on.
Well, Askew, I think, working on the basis that on the 11s, you see, it's on the vertical, and you've got 14, 11 and 8 on the vertical on one side. You've got 13, 6 and 10 on the vertical on the other side. So they are, those two, effectively the same throw. Admittedly, 13 and 6 and 10 on the right-hand side of the board. But that can be compensated for by simply moving along the hockey and such.
It also means,
which is what Askew's doing.
if you throw a dipper, i.e. your dart that loses power near the end, it might get in either side of the 11.
Exactly, and that's why some prefer to throw on the vertical.
Side ones rather than the top or bottom.
Oh, 100.
I think those who throw at tops are not necessarily mindful of the 9-darter. They're more mindful, that's my favourite double, I like it, I'll go for it.
Straightforward stacking shot there. Good use of the marker dart below the 60 bet by Askew. Oh, awkward this to get to the 60 via the flight. See, that's an excellent, bad for him, example of what can go wrong with a good marker at some throws.
Well, the last game of this afternoon session, we've got some real games for you tonight. Beaten low.
136.
Warren Burgess, Smith Della, Painter Burnett. What a night of darts again. And the winner of this game plays the winner of Warren Burgess.
Now, ask you a question there, John. 106.4. Can was that? Maintain that? Anything like it? I think he can.
So a second set that goes into a deciding leg.
Can't echo. how well the flag of the qualifiers is being held here. Pendo beat Taylor last night, a qualifier. This lad, a qualifier, giving Askew quite a game here.
Yes, I have a feeling that neither player is throwing at his best, in all fairness. But especially Askew, a touch lacklustre. Good start there. But Cullingworth got away as well in this most vital of legs. I said that of the fifth leg of the previous set. This is a good one for Cullingworth, definitely.
That's right.
Now.
He's not falling off the bus tonight. Oodles of room to Philly's boots.
And isn't it strange when it's needs must? Again, we talk about the professionalism, don't we, of players like Askew.
Well, Tony Wood, good friend of mine, Darts World, said years ago that the pros were guys who could guarantee you 160 per time to the board in the scoring phase. A good pro is a guy who will tend to do it twice, and of course 180's come out all the time. So the pro is the guy with that adjustment factor under pressure to find the 60 in the scoring phase.
And good thinking by Askew as well, going down to 19s to leave it nice and shapely, 160. If he'd stayed on 20s, he'd have left 159.
Already had a 161. That's the Irishman.
Perfect dart.
Another perfect dart.
Perfect finish, 160 finish. Takes Askew 2 sets to 0 up. 3-2 the first set, 3-2 the second. I ask you, 160 to add to 161 yesterday. Welcome back to Dublin, and Dave Askew hitting his second 12-darter of the tournament. A perfect first dart, a perfect second, and there's the 160 checkout that took him 2 sets into the lead against fellow Englishman Ian Cullingworth. Place in the quarter-final awaits, and it looks at the moment as though the number 7 seed Askew is on his way.
But Cullingworth has had chances, particularly my choice went to the 60 and hit the flight twice when he would have been better off going to treble 19. There's no doubt PDC are justified in the excellent standard of their qualifiers, one of whom beat Bill Bauer Taylor. There have been, as we suggested, patches of professionalism for Askew, particularly that 160 when he needed it.
Yeah, the biggest difference, Sid, is that when Askew has given Cullingworth an opportunity, he's not taken it. When Cullingworth has presented Askew with an opportunity, he's gone in, and maybe that's one of the differences between the good players and the very good players.
Pros take no prisoners. Lovely last dart. Takes this set. Askew's in the last 8. Oh, wonderful darts from the qualifier. You'd said it just right. He has not taken chances that have been given by Askew. Askew's taking the chances, but he's by no means given up the ghost.
No, he hasn't, and Askew making sure he's left on a finish, because Cullingworth here can check this out. Another good dart. 56 left.
96. Dave, you require 170.
Forcing Askew in this leg to think about a 15-darter. Looking at a 13-darter himself, and to come back with a 13-darter when you're 2-zip down in sets is class.
You require 40.
Tops. Oh, that flight's too awkward for comfort. 2 causes for concern with the fly. Oh, very, very unlucky.
Dave, you require 100.
Well, you may see him go for 19s here, knowing that single 19 still leaves him on a 2-darter. That's the advantage. I feel there is a disadvantage as well, and we saw it in a game yesterday. The player got treble 19 and still needed another treble. But anyway, that's another matter. 40 wanted by Cullingworth. Only a touch of adjustment from the previous 3 darts, and in he goes to take the lead. He's taken the lead in 2 of the sets now. Failed to hold on to it. Yes, on that 129, if you get the treble 19, it leaves 72, so you've got to get another treble anyway. If you get the treble 20, it leaves 59. Sorry, 69, which gives you treble 19, double 6, 19 full. On the other hand, if you single the 20, then you can't get 109 in 2 darts. It's tit for tat, but I actually think you're better off going for the treble 20 and taking the chance.
Yep. Very cool on the 60, which has been a feature of this game. Askew after his opening set. And that's not a bad lie for him, because the flight is not giving him much bother. He's going to risk this one through the middle.
140!
Well, last it's cooked up into a real match, because the pressure, he's had chances, has Cullingworth throughout. The professional of Askew just shaded it. Still not over yet, though.
Askew needing a big score, got it as well. Somewhere in between. But not that way. It swung late.
Some great matches coming up. Sounds mentioned tonight. Steve Beaton, who was on fire against backstep players low. Warren, 106.4 average, plays Shane Burgess. Kevin Pinder, conqueror of Taylor, plays Burnett. Dennis Smith plays Keith Della. Rockin' rollin' darts tonight.
25!
Nice guy.
Dave, you require 160.
Done it once, won't be doing it again yet. Now Cullingworth, I'd rather think he'll probably go 11 tops. He likes that tops, doesn't he? May go 19 double 16. Well, he has. Little surprised.
2 16s now on 2 hits.
35!
Will the professional veneer clip in this 2-darter? Tops to clip in 2 10s.
90!
Well, for once, when presented with an opportunity, Askew didn't take it. So a chance here for Cullingworth to go 2 up in this 3rd set.
As Askew goes, Askew.
Game, set, here goes. 3rd leg. Dave to throw first. Game on.
Well, he's away, Sid, but if this fella Cullingworth gets away first start on tops, or even second if it's followed up with a treble, no. Chance there to
No score.
really put Askew under pressure.
Yeah, you were on that game last night against Rooney, the local 20-year-old, where towards the end he did become professional just like that.
Well, you can't see really Cullingworth doing too much damage here to Askew. Having taken 6 darts to get away, a leg where, had he got away straight away?
59!
3's up, yeah.
Within a set of Askew. Yeah. Without reply.
100!
Certainly not far out on the 60 when he is out. The only problem's been the flight blocking him, certainly in the first set when he went for it. Maybe should have covered on treble 19.
100!
Great darts by the qualifier.
Brilliant darts by the qualifier. His second 180. Both of them in this set. Oh, a long way from where he was going there. A bit of a chance here now for Cullingworth with that 180. He can't check this out, but by making a mighty hole in it, he can put Askew under more pressure. 101 left. Oh, very good. 44 when he goes in. Will he go? He'll go 18-18 ball, treble 18, double 16.
So 2-0 up in sets, but looking to try and save the third set now. Askew. Still a chance to 16.
Well, that 180 certainly helped Cullingworth. Now, a chance here.
To take the set line to 2-1. 2/16. Oh, now what? He's going to watch that flight. Could take it off the bottom of the bed. He didn't risk the bottom of the bed. He tried to go inside the flight. Do it. Again, problem. Too near the flight and you've had it.
Yes, fancied that. Just moved slightly inside the dart. And Cullingworth could prey on his mind. Had a genuine opportunity there. He was given the opportunity after hitting a 180 and then following it up with a 137. And then when it came to hitting the double, it just wasn't there. It'll hurt. 2-0 up, a chance to win the set, and he's still got work to do, especially now.
Yep, won't be far from the 60, Dave, now with this one.
62.
Yeah, he must not let the half dozen times heavier scoring or doubles have let him down. He's had chances in this. They mustn't weigh on his mind. Last 8 of the World Grand Prix.
Now this is so similar to the previous leg now. Cullingworth's not only got to rely on Askew not hitting too many big scores, he's got to hit one or two himself. He proved in the last leg that you can get back into it. Things just go your way, but he didn't want that.
He's a lovely 60 thrower. It's just that he gives himself problems with the flight too often to get more than one, sometimes two in.
60.
Superb darts.
Superb darts to lead tops.
Yeah, Keith Delos helped us with the spotting, made a good point. Big lead. The bed looks a bit bigger when you get on the inaccurate side. Wants to be accurate on tops now.
You just have the feeling that this is going to go Askew's way now, because Cullingworth 2-0 up in this set has had his chances, and if Askew gets away straight away here, Cullingworth hasn't been doing that of late, and it'll be curtains. Good first dart, good second dart, wonderful third dart. Now this man is severely under pressure.
Now I don't want to pan our own backs too much, but we said that patches of professionalism from Dave could be the message of this game. I think it's gone just like that. Produced a 160 when it was very handy, and looking to just now run out with another dozen maybe highly professional darts. Professional it is. Super duper professional.
See here, almost 300 in it, and Cullingworth still to hit that double. Got it now. How much he needs that treble, and he's got it, 120, but still way behind, 162 between them. Make that 222.
99.
Right, Shanghai on 20s to jump the chances of Cullingworth.
59. Dave, you require 120.
Looking at 60 to start the combination. Once the big 20. Once tops of the match. Patches of not quite purple. Slightly fused professionalism from Askew. Takes the very worthy. I'm not pandering to him. He had lots of chances. He held the flag for the qualifiers high. But Askew's professionalism does the biz.